Hello and welcome back. This is our next sixth grade math video, and this video is going to be focused on dividing fractions. Okay, so in our last video, what we did is we focused on dividing whole numbers and fractions, and there we used a method called keep, change, flip, where we kept the first fraction the same, changed to multiplication, and then we flipped the second fraction around. We're going to use the same method here. In fact, you can use that method anytime you're dividing fractions. So I'm going to write that up here. Keep, change, flip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by rewriting this problem. 1/3 divided by 3/4. So I'm going to rewrite it like this because this is how I prefer to look at my fractions. If the slanted line doesn't bother you, totally fine. You don't need to rewrite it. So the K for keep means we're keeping that first fraction the same. So that's going to be 1/3. That's going to stay the same. The C for change means we're changing from division to multiplication. And the F for flip means I'm flipping the second fraction around into what's called its reciprocal. That's a big word, but basically just means switching the numerator and the denominator. So that's going to be 4/3 this time. Then to finish the problem, I'm going to multiply the numerators. 1 times 4, which is 4, and 3 times 3, which is 9. So that is the keep, change, flip method. 1/3 divided by 3/4 is 4/9. I'm going to show you another shortcut you can use to get the same answer, but this one is a little bit trickier because it's kind of hard to remember what numbers to put where. Okay, so this one doesn't really have a name. It's just the idea of cross multiplying because you know you're going to change from division to multiplication, but you can use something called cross multiplication, is kind of how we refer to it, to get this job done. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to multiply the denominator of the second number times the numerator of the first, and that becomes the numerator. So 4 times 1 is 4. Then I'm going to multiply the denominator of the first number times the numerator of the first, and then put that right there. So that is kind of a quick mental math way of doing it. However, it does get a little confusing as to cross multiplying, like, okay, which one do I do first? Which number goes on top? Things like that. But you can use this method if you like it. Okay, here's our next example. We're going to use keep, change, flip. I'm going to rewrite this as 1/9 divided by 1/3. And I'm going to put keep, change, flip over here. Keep means I'm keeping that first fraction the same. So I'm going to rewrite that as 1/9. Change means to change from dividing to multiplication. And flip means I'm flipping the second fraction around to its reciprocal. So that is 3/1. Then I just need to multiply the numerators. 1 times 3 is 3. And multiply the denominators. 9 times 1 is 9. Now, if you get an answer that can be simplified, you should go ahead and do that. So even though 3/9 is correct, it's not quite simplified because I can divide both the top and the bottom by 3. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So the answer would be 3/9, or the simplified version would be 1/3. Okay, here's our next one. We're going to take the fraction 2/9 and we're going to divide it by 1/2. So I've got 2/9 divided by 1/2. Okay, so I'm going to use keep, change, flip again. Keep, change, flip, keeping the first fraction the same, 2/9, changing from division to multiplication, and then flipping the second fraction around to its reciprocal, so it is 2/1. Then I just need to multiply 2 times 2, which is 4, and then 9 times 1, which is 9. Now this fraction, when I look at it, I don't think it can be simplified, so I feel like we are finished. 4/9 would be the answer. Okay, here's our next one. We're going to take 1/2 and divide it by 8/9. So 1/2 divided by 8/9. Okay, we're going to use keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep that 1/2 the same. It's always the first one you keep the same. Change from division to multiplication, and then flip the second fraction around. Again, it's always the second fraction that gets flipped. So this is 9/8. Then I just multiply 1 times 9, which is 9, and 2 times 8, which is 16. and my answer ends up being 9/16. Now, this might feel like it can be simplified, but looking closer, I can only divide 9 by 3, and I can't divide 16 by 3. So I believe this is already simplified. Okay, here's our last one for today's video. 3/5 divided by 1/4. Okay, we're going to use keep, change, flip again. So keeping 3/5 the same, changing from division to multiplication, and flipping the second fraction around so that it is 4/1. Then I multiply 3 times 4 and I get 12. And I multiply 5 times 1 and I get 5. So 12/5 is a correct answer. However, it's not fully simplified because it's an improper fraction, which means I can rewrite it as a mixed number. I know that 5 fits into 12 2 times. And then if I do that, I would end up with 2 left over. So that's a very simplified way to make it into a mixed number. If you want me to go in more depth about how to change that improper fraction to a mixed number, please check out some earlier videos I've done on how to do that. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Hope to see you again soon.